Question 1. An Agile team has just completed an iteration and is preparing for the iteration review. A key stakeholder, notorious for last-minute change requests, approaches the product owner and insists on demonstrating a new feature idea that was not part of the iteration backlog. How should the product owner best address this situation while upholding Agile principles? A. Allow the stakeholder to demonstrate the feature during the iteration review to ensure immediate feedback. B. Politely explain that the iteration review is for completed work and suggest adding the new feature to the product backlog for future prioritization. C. Include the feature in the current iteration's stretch goals and attempt to demonstrate it if time permits. D. Inform the team to quickly develop a prototype of the new feature before the review to satisfy the stakeholder. Answer. B. Politely explain that the iteration review is for completed work and suggest adding the new feature to the product backlog for future prioritization. The iteration review, also known as the sprint review in Scrum, is specifically for inspecting the increment created during the iteration and adapting the product backlog if needed. Introducing unplanned work during this event or asking the team to rush a prototype undermines the stability of the iteration and the concept of a stable definition of done, which are crucial for predictable delivery in Agile frameworks. The product owner's role is to manage the product backlog, prioritize work, and protect the team from external disruptions, so the most effective approach is to acknowledge the new idea and integrate it into the formal backlog process for proper evaluation and prioritization against other work. Remember, Agile embraces change, but it does so through structured processes like backlog management, not ad hoc interruptions. Question 2. During a daily stand-up, a team member consistently reports being blocked by an external dependency managed by another department, but doesn't explicitly ask for help. The Scrum Master notices this recurring pattern. What is the most appropriate action for the Scrum Master to take? A. Remind the team member that stand-ups are for reporting progress, not for solving problems. B. Privately follow up with the team member after the stand-up to offer support in resolving the impediment. C. Escalate the issue immediately to the management of the other department to demand a resolution. D. Ask the entire team during the stand-up to brainstorm solutions for the dependency. Answer. B. Privately follow up with the team member after the stand-up to offer support in resolving the impediment. The Scrum Master acts as a servant leader and an impediment remover for the team. While the daily stand-up is primarily for coordination and sharing progress, it also serves to surface impediments, even if not explicitly stated as a request for help. The Scrum Master's responsibility is to identify these blockers and facilitate their removal, which often means taking action outside the stand-up itself to avoid turning the meeting into a problem-solving session. Following up privately after the stand-up allows the Scrum Master to understand the specific nature of the impediment and offer tailored support, coaching the team member if needed, or directly engaging with external parties on their behalf. Remember, your goal as a Scrum Master is to empower the team, not just to listen passively to their challenges. Question 3. A newly formed Agile team struggles with self-organization, frequently waiting for direction from the product owner on daily tasks, despite having clear iteration goals. What underlying Agile principle is primarily being challenged, and how might a Scrum Master address this? A. Principle: embrace change. Address: encourage the product owner to provide more detailed instructions. B. Principle: collaboration. Address: facilitate more frequent formal meetings to discuss task assignments. C. Principle: self-organizing teams. Address: coach the team on collective ownership and decision-making, perhaps using techniques like planning poker or task breakdown sessions. D. Principle: customer collaboration. Address: arrange for more direct interaction between the team and end users to clarify requirements. Answer: C. Principle: self-organizing teams. Address: coach the team on collective ownership and decision-making, perhaps using techniques like planning poker or task breakdown sessions. The core issue described is the team's inability to self-organize, which is a fundamental Agile principle where the best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. Waiting for the product owner to assign daily tasks indicates a lack of collective ownership and initiative within the team. The Scrum Master's role here is to coach the team towards greater autonomy and self-management, fostering an environment where they collectively decide how to best achieve their iteration goals. Techniques like facilitating more interactive task breakdown sessions or encouraging pairing can help the team build confidence in making their own decisions. Remember, true agility comes from empowering teams to manage their own work, rather than relying on top-down direction. Question 4. A product owner is struggling to prioritize a large, complex product backlog. Several stakeholders have competing interests, and there's no clear consensus on what delivers the most value. Which of the following Agile techniques would be most effective in bringing clarity and helping the product owner make value-driven decisions? A. Creating a detailed Gantt chart to visualize dependencies and critical path. B. Implementing a comprehensive change control board to approve all backlog items. C. Facilitating a weighted shortest job first, WSJF exercise with key stakeholders. D. Conducting a root cause analysis for the lack of consensus among stakeholders. Answer: C. Facilitating a weighted shortest job first, WSJF exercise with key stakeholders. The challenge here is prioritizing a complex backlog with competing stakeholder interests and unclear value. While other options address planning or problem solving, weighted shortest job first, WSJF, is a specific lean agile prioritization model designed to help sequence jobs, features, epics, etc., to produce maximum economic benefit. It works by dividing the cost of delay, business value, time criticality, risk reduction/opportunity enablement, by the duration, size/effort. Facilitating a WSJF exercise with key stakeholders explicitly involves them in quantifying the value and cost of delay for each item, thereby creating a data-driven, objective basis for prioritization that helps align diverse perspectives. Remember, effective prioritization in Agile often involves techniques that quantify value and risk to make informed decisions. Question 5. An Agile team consistently struggles to deliver the full scope of their iteration commitments. Upon inspection, it's observed that many user stories are only almost done by the iteration's end, requiring significant rework in the next iteration. What is the most likely cause of this issue, and what Agile practice should be reinforced? A. Overestimation of story points, reinforce better estimation techniques. B. Lack of a clear definition of done, reinforce adherence to a robust definition of done. C. Insufficient stakeholder engagement, reinforce more frequent stakeholder reviews. D. Unrealistic iteration goals, reinforce more conservative planning. Answer: B. Lack of a clear definition of done, reinforce adherence to a robust definition of done. The problem of almost done work and significant rework in subsequent iterations is a classic symptom of an unclear or inconsistently applied definition of done, DoD. The DoD defines the criteria that a product increment must meet to be considered done, ensuring quality and a shared understanding of completeness. Without a clear DoD, work might be considered finished prematurely, leading to a buildup of technical debt and a reduction in the team's ability to deliver shippable increments. Reinforcing a robust DoD and ensuring the team adheres to it means that stories are truly complete, tested, and potentially shippable by the end of the iteration, improving predictability and quality. Remember, a clear definition of done is essential for transparency and quality in Agile development. Question 6. A Scrum team has been highly effective in delivering features, but has accumulated a significant amount of technical debt over several iterations, leading to slower progress and increased bug reports. The product owner prioritizes new features over addressing technical debt. How should the Scrum Master best guide the product owner and the team in this situation? A. Insist that the team dedicates an entire iteration solely to resolving technical debt. B. Coach the product owner on the long-term impact of unaddressed technical debt on velocity and sustainability, advocating for its inclusion in the backlog. C. Advise the team to refuse new feature work until the technical debt is addressed. D. Implement a strict rule that 20% of every iteration must be dedicated to technical debt. Answer: B. Coach the product owner on the long-term impact of unaddressed technical debt on velocity and sustainability, advocating for its inclusion in the backlog. Technical debt, while not directly delivering new business value, significantly impacts the sustainability and future velocity of an agile team. When a product owner consistently prioritizes new features over addressing technical debt, the Scrum Master's role is to act as a coach and educator. They should highlight the long-term implications, such as reduced team performance, increased bugs, and difficulty implementing new features, making the invisible costs visible. The goal is not to dictate, but to help the product owner understand the value of addressing technical debt as part of the overall product health and long-term delivery capability, thereby influencing its prioritization in the backlog alongside new features. Think of technical debt like an invisible force slowing down your car. Addressing it might not get you further immediately, but it ensures your car won't break down later. Question 7. During an iteration retrospective, the team identifies that a recurring blocker is the inconsistent availability of a specialized subject matter expert, SME, from outside the team. What is the most effective approach for the team to mitigate this external dependency in future iterations? A. Request management to assign the SME full-time to the team. B. Document all questions for the SME and send them in a single, weekly email. C. Cross-train team members in the SME's area of expertise to reduce dependency. D. Incorporate a buffer of extra time into future iteration plans to account for SME delays. Answer: C. Cross-train team members in the SME's area of expertise to reduce dependency. The most effective agile response to a recurring external dependency, especially on an individual's specific knowledge, is to reduce that dependency through knowledge sharing and cross-training. While other options might offer temporary relief or workarounds, cross-training team members builds resilience and reduces the risk associated with a single point of failure. It enhances collective code ownership and increases the team's overall skill set, aligning with agile principles of building self-organizing, cross-functional teams. By growing their own expertise, the team becomes more autonomous and less reliant on external factors for their progress. Always aim to build internal capability to make your team more robust and independent. Question 8. An agile team finds itself repeatedly revisiting previously completed features due to new insights or changing market conditions. This leads to scope creep and difficulty in achieving a stable product increment. Which of the following agile values is most challenged by this situation, and what should be the primary focus for improvement? A. Responding to change, focus on rigid upfront planning. B. Individuals and interactions, focus on more detailed documentation. C. Working software, focus on better requirements gathering. D. Customer collaboration, focus on continuous feedback and shared understanding. Answer: D. Customer collaboration, focus on continuous feedback and shared understanding. The scenario describes a situation where completed features are repeatedly revisited due to new insights, indicating a lack of stable understanding or effective collaboration throughout development. While Agile values responding to change, this doesn't imply endless, unplanned rework. The core Agile value challenged here is customer collaboration, which emphasizes continuous and close collaboration with the customer, or product owner representing the customer, throughout the project. The primary focus for improvement should be enhancing this collaboration to build a shared understanding early and continuously, ensuring that new insights are incorporated proactively, and feedback loops are tightened. By doing so, the team can reduce surprises and achieve a more stable increment, ensuring the product evolves effectively rather than endlessly being revisited. Question 9. An Agile team is consistently underdelivering on its commitments, despite working diligently. The team members frequently feel stressed and report difficulty completing tasks within the iteration timeframe. Upon investigation, it is observed that stories often spill over into the next iteration. What is the most appropriate Agile metric or practice to review and potentially adjust? A. Lead time. Measure the time from story creation to delivery and aim to reduce it significantly. B. Cycle time. Measure the time a task takes from start to finish within the iteration and analyze for bottlenecks. C. Team velocity. Recalibrate the team's velocity based on actual completed work and use it for more realistic planning. D. Cumulative flow diagram. Analyze the flow to identify where work is piling up or slowing down. Answer. C. Team velocity. Recalibrate the team's velocity based on actual completed work and use it for more realistic planning. The scenario clearly indicates that the team is consistently undercommitting, meaning they plan more work than they can realistically complete within an iteration, resulting in spillovers. While lead time, cycle time, and a cumulative flow diagram are valuable metrics, the most direct and impactful adjustment for consistent underdelivery in an iterative context is to recalibrate the team's velocity. Velocity is a measure of the amount of work, e.g., story points, a team can complete in an iteration. By adjusting the planned work for future iterations to align with their actual, proven velocity, the team can set more realistic commitments, reduce stress, and improve their ability to deliver what they commit to. Remember, velocity is a planning tool, not a performance metric, and should reflect a team's sustainable pace. Question 10. A product owner is struggling to break down large epic-level requirements into smaller, manageable user stories that fit within an iteration. The team often starts work on stories that are too big, leading to them being split multiple times and spanning several iterations. What technique would best help the product owner and team address this? A. Conducting a detailed work breakdown structure, WBS, exercise for all epics up front. B. Using the INVEST criteria, independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, testable, during backlog refinement. C. Implementing a strict, no more than 5 story points per story, rule for the team. D. Requiring all user stories to include a detailed technical design before being considered ready. Answer. B. Using the INVEST criteria, independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, testable, during backlog refinement. The core problem described is the product owner's difficulty in breaking down large requirements into iteration-sized chunks, causing stories to spill over. The INVEST criteria serve as an excellent mnemonic for well-formed user stories in Agile. Specifically, the S for small is directly aimed at ensuring stories are granular enough to be completed within a single iteration, and the E for estimable ensures the team can gauge their size. Applying INVEST during backlog refinement activities helps the product owner and team collaborate on slicing large items into smaller, shippable, and manageable pieces, thereby improving the flow of work and reducing spillovers. Always remember, small, well-defined stories are the cornerstone of predictable Agile delivery. Question 11. An Agile team is considering adopting mob programming to improve collaboration and knowledge sharing. What is a primary challenge or risk associated with implementing mob programming, particularly for a team new to this practice? A. Reduced individual productivity due to constant collaboration. B. The potential for a single dominant personality to monopolize the keyboard and discussion. C. Increased technical debt due to rapid, unplanned coding. D. Difficulty in tracking individual contributions for performance reviews. Answer. B. The potential for a single dominant personality to monopolize the keyboard and discussion. Mob programming involves an entire team working on the same thing, at the same time, in the same space, on the same computer. While it offers immense benefits for knowledge sharing and collaboration, a significant challenge, especially for new teams, is ensuring equitable participation. Without careful facilitation, a single dominant personality can easily monopolize the keyboard, the driver, and a conversation, diminishing the collaborative benefits and potentially alienating other team members who don't feel heard or involved. Effective mob programming requires intentional rotation of the driver and navigator roles and strong facilitation to ensure everyone contributes actively. Always remember that inclusive collaboration is key to making group techniques like mob programming successful. Question 12. During a sprint review, stakeholders express concern that while the team is delivering working software, it doesn't seem to be the right software, as it doesn't fully meet evolving business needs. What Agile principle is being missed, and what action should the product owner take? A. Principle, technical excellence. Action, implement more robust automated testing. B. Principle, self-organizing teams. Action, empower the team to make more design decisions. C. Principle, value-driven delivery. Action, refine backlog prioritization based on continuous feedback and business value. D. Principle, sustainable pace. Action, reduce the amount of work planned for future sprints. Answer, C. Principle, value-driven delivery. Action, refine backlog prioritization based on continuous feedback and business value. The core issue here is that despite delivering working software, it's not meeting the right business needs, indicating a misalignment with actual value. This challenges the Agile principle of value-driven delivery, which emphasizes continuously maximizing the value of the work delivered. The product owner's primary responsibility is to maximize the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. If the delivered software isn't right, it means the prioritization and understanding of business value need to be refined. The product owner should actively solicit continuous feedback from stakeholders and reprioritize the backlog to ensure the most valuable items, reflecting current business needs, are always at the top. Remember, working software is only truly valuable if it solves the right problems for the customer. Question 13. A newly integrated team, consisting of members from two different functional departments, is struggling with trust and open communication during iteration retrospectives. There's a noticeable reluctance to discuss failures or areas for improvement openly. What fundamental element of a high-performing Agile team is missing, and how can the Scrum Master address it? A. Shared understanding, implement daily stand-ups to improve information flow. B. Psychological safety, create a safe environment for open dialogue by setting clear ground rules and demonstrating vulnerability. C. Technical expertise, provide training sessions on new technologies. D. Clear roles and responsibilities, enforce stricter adherence to individual role definitions. Answer, B. Psychological safety, create a safe environment for open dialogue by setting clear ground rules and demonstrating vulnerability. The reluctance to discuss failures or areas for improvement openly is a strong indicator of a lack of psychological safety within the team. Psychological safety is the belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. It's a foundational element for high-performing teams, especially in Agile, where continuous improvement relies on candid self-assessment during retrospectives. The Scrum Master can address this by actively fostering a safe environment, establishing explicit ground rules for respect and non-blaming, and demonstrating vulnerability by sharing their own mistakes, thereby modeling the desired behavior. Remember, a team that feels safe enough to be vulnerable is a team that can truly learn and improve together. Question 14. An Agile coach observes that during backlog refinement, the product owner consistently dictates the technical implementation details of user stories to the development team, rather than allowing the team to determine how to achieve the what. What Agile principle is being violated, and what should the coach advise? A. Principle, customer collaboration, advise the product owner to involve customers in technical design. B. Principle, self-organizing teams, advise the product owner to empower the team to decide on how. C. Principle, responding to change, advise the product owner to be more flexible with scope. D. Principle, delivering working software frequently, advise the product owner to focus more on rapid delivery? Answer: B. Principle. Self-organizing teams advise the product owner to empower the team to decide on how. The Agile Manifesto emphasizes that the best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. When a product owner dictates technical implementation, they violate the autonomy and self-organizing nature of the development team. The product owner's role is to define what needs to be built, the what or the why, in terms of value and requirements, while the team is responsible for how they will build it, the technical solution. The Agile coach should advise the product owner to trust the team's expertise and empower them to make technical design decisions, fostering an environment where the team owns their solutions and can innovate effectively. Always remember to clarify roles. Product owners define the what, and the team determines the how. Question 15. A distributed Agile team is struggling with communication breakdowns and a lack of shared context, particularly when dealing with complex, interdependent tasks. What is the most effective Agile technique or practice to mitigate these issues in a distributed setting? A. Relying solely on asynchronous communication tools like email and chat for all discussions. B. Implementing a strict daily communication report, where each member summarizes their activities. C. Increasing the frequency of formal, documented meetings to ensure everyone receives the same information. D. Utilizing rich, collaborative information radiators and frequent, structured virtual face-to-face interactions. Answer: D. Utilizing rich, collaborative information radiators and frequent, structured virtual face-to-face interactions. Distributed teams often struggle with the organic, informal communication present in co-located environments. Relying solely on asynchronous tools or formal reports can exacerbate the problem, leading to misinterpretations and a lack of shared context. The most effective approach is to intentionally replicate the benefits of co-location. This involves using information radiators, visible displays that provide up-to-date information at a glance, e.g., virtual Kanban boards, dashboards, to create shared visibility. Additionally, frequent, structured virtual face-to-face interactions, e.g., video calls for daily stand-ups, retrospectives, and planning, help build rapport, facilitate nuanced discussions, and ensure everyone stays aligned on complex, interdependent tasks. Remember, bridging the distance requires deliberate efforts to maximize transparency and rich communication channels. Question 16. A product owner decides to significantly reduce the scope of the current iteration mid-sprint due to new information indicating that a critical external dependency will be delayed. How should the team respond to this change while upholding Agile principles? A. Stop all work, wait for new instructions from the product owner, and then restart with the revised scope. B. Resist the change, as the iteration commitment should be immutable once planning is complete. C. Adapt the plan within the iteration, focusing on delivering the highest priority items from the reduced scope, and communicate progress. D. Immediately escalate to senior management, as mid-iteration scope changes are a sign of poor planning. Answer: C. Adapt the plan within the iteration, focusing on delivering the highest priority items from the reduced scope, and communicate progress. Agile embraces change, even late in development, to deliver value. While scope changes within an iteration are not ideal, they are sometimes necessary due to new information, especially regarding critical external dependencies. The Agile principle of responding to change over following a plan is paramount here. The team should adapt collaboratively, focusing their efforts on the most valuable items from the newly prioritized, reduced scope that can still be delivered within the iteration. This demonstrates flexibility and a commitment to delivering value in the face of evolving circumstances, rather than rigidly adhering to an outdated plan or escalating unnecessarily. Remember, while an iteration plan is a commitment, it's a living plan that can be adapted if essential to maximize value. Question 17. An Agile team has been consistently delivering working software, but stakeholders perceive the product as lacking innovation and competitive edge. The team primarily focuses on immediate backlog items without much consideration for future trends or larger strategic goals. What aspect of value-driven delivery is the product owner failing to adequately address? A. Minimizing waste by avoiding unnecessary features. B. Ensuring technical excellence and good design. C. Balancing immediate delivery with long-term vision and strategic alignment. D. Maximizing team velocity by maintaining a stable workload. Answer: C. Balancing immediate delivery with long-term vision and strategic alignment. The scenario describes a team delivering working software, a core Agile tenet, but lacking innovation and competitive edge, indicating a disconnect between immediate iteration goals and the broader, long-term strategic vision for the product. The product owner's role in value-driven delivery extends beyond just prioritizing current backlog items. They are responsible for understanding the market, anticipating future needs, and articulating a clear product vision that guides development toward strategic goals and competitive advantage. The product owner needs to balance delivering immediate value with planning for future innovation and ensuring the product evolves strategically. Remember, true value delivery considers both the present needs and the future strategic direction of the product. Question 18. During a sprint retrospective, the team identifies that testing consistently lags behind development, leading to a bottleneck at the end of the sprint. This often results in incomplete testing and quality issues being carried over. What specific Agile practice, if improved, would most directly address this bottleneck? A. Increasing the number of testers on the team. B. Improving the clarity of user stories to reduce ambiguity. C. Implementing continuous integration and shifting testing left in the development cycle. D. Conducting more thorough upfront design to prevent defects. Answer: C. Implementing continuous integration and shifting testing left in the development cycle. The problem is a bottleneck where testing lags behind development, leading to issues at the end of the sprint. While other options might offer some benefit, shifting left, in testing, combined with continuous integration, CI, is the most direct Agile practice to address this. Shifting left means performing testing activities earlier and more frequently in the development lifecycle. With continuous integration, developers integrate their code frequently, and automated tests run against these integrations constantly. This immediate feedback loop identifies defects early, makes them easier and cheaper to fix, and prevents a backlog of testing work at the end of the sprint, thus alleviating the bottleneck. Remember, in Agile, quality is built in continuously, not just inspected at the end. Question 19. An organization is transitioning to Agile, but middle management is resistant, fearing a loss of control and relevance. They still demand traditional project status reports and detailed timelines. What is the most effective Agile approach for the Agile coach to address this resistance? A. Insist that middle managers adopt Agile roles like product owner or Scrum Master. B. Bypass middle management and directly communicate Agile progress to senior leadership. C. Educate middle management on how their role evolves to servant leadership and how Agile metrics provide transparency and predictability. D. Create a hybrid model where the team uses Agile, but the project manager reports progress using traditional methods. Answer: C. Educate middle management on how their role evolves to servant leadership and how Agile metrics provide transparency and predictability. Resistance from middle management is common during Agile transformations, often stemming from a misunderstanding of Agile principles and fear of losing traditional control. The most effective approach for an Agile coach is to educate and empower them, not to bypass or force them into specific roles. The coach should help middle managers understand how their role shifts from command and control to one of servant leadership, coaching, and removing organizational impediments. Additionally, demonstrating how Agile metrics, like velocity, burn-down charts, and cumulative flow diagrams, provide transparency and predictability, often better than traditional reports, can help alleviate their concerns about losing visibility and control. Remember, successful Agile adoption requires engaging and educating all levels of the organization. Question 20. A product owner receives constant, conflicting feedback on a key feature from multiple stakeholders, making it difficult to achieve a stable understanding of requirements. This leads to rework and delays. What is the most appropriate strategy for the product owner to employ? A. Implement a formal change request process to control all stakeholder feedback. B. Select one primary stakeholder as the sole decision maker for the feature. C. Facilitate a collaborative workshop with all key stakeholders to achieve a shared understanding and common vision. D. Prioritize the feature lower in the backlog until the conflicting feedback resolves itself. Answer: C. Facilitate a collaborative workshop with all key stakeholders to achieve a shared understanding and common vision. Conflicting feedback from multiple stakeholders is a common challenge that directly impacts the ability to deliver value and achieve a stable product. Implementing a formal change request process or selecting a single decision maker might centralize control, but it risks disengaging other stakeholders or missing crucial perspectives. The most effective Agile strategy is to foster collaboration and transparency among all key stakeholders. Facilitating a dedicated workshop, perhaps using techniques like story mapping or user persona development, allows for direct dialogue, helps uncover underlying assumptions, and drives toward a shared understanding and common vision for the feature, leading to more aligned and stable requirements. Remember, collaboration is key to resolving conflicting viewpoints and building shared understanding in Agile. Question 21. An Agile team has reached a point where their velocity has plateaued, and despite continuous improvement efforts, they struggle to significantly increase their throughput. The product owner expresses concern about the pace of feature delivery. What is the most likely constraint or area to investigate for potential improvement? A. The team's definition of done is too strict, causing unnecessary delays. B. External dependencies and organizational impediments are consistently slowing down the flow of work. C. Individual team members are not working hard enough to meet the demand. D. The product owner is not providing enough detail in the user stories. Answer: B. External dependencies and organizational impediments are consistently slowing down the flow of work. When a team's velocity plateaus despite their best efforts and continuous improvement, it often indicates that the bottlenecks are no longer within the team's direct control. While a strict definition of done or unclear user stories can impact velocity, a plateau often points to broader, systemic issues or organizational impediments that hinder the flow of value. These could include slow approval processes, reliance on external teams for critical tasks, or bureaucratic hurdles. The team, with the help of the Scrum Master or Agile coach, should investigate these external dependencies and organizational impediments to unblock the flow and potentially increase throughput. Remember, true agility extends beyond the team's boundaries and requires addressing organizational constraints. Question 22. A team member consistently works overtime and takes on more tasks than committed during iteration planning, leading to burnout and a dip in quality in subsequent iterations. This behavior is initially praised by the product owner for going the extra mile. How should the Scrum Master address this situation? A. Encourage the team member to continue, as it shows dedication and helps meet goals. B. Address the behavior directly with the team member and coach them on the importance of sustainable pace and realistic commitment. C. Report the team member's overwork to their functional manager for disciplinary action. D. Adjust the team's velocity upwards, assuming this is the new normal for productivity. Answer: B. Address the behavior directly with the team member and coach them on the importance of sustainable pace and realistic commitment. While extra effort might seem beneficial in the short term, consistent overwork and taking on too much leads to burnout, reduced quality, and an unsustainable pace, which undermines long-term team performance and agility. The Agile principle of sustainable pace emphasizes that a team should be able to maintain a constant, steady rate indefinitely. The Scrum Master's role is to protect the team and foster a sustainable work environment. This requires directly coaching the team member on the dangers of overcommitment and the importance of respecting the team's capacity and sustainable pace. It also involves educating the product owner about the long-term negative impacts of such behavior. Remember, a sustainable pace ensures consistent delivery and prevents burnout, leading to a healthier and more productive team in the long run. Question 23. An Agile team has deployed a new feature to production, and initial user feedback is overwhelmingly negative, indicating the feature fundamentally misses user needs. The team followed all processes and the product owner approved the story. What Agile principle was likely overlooked, and what immediate action is most aligned with Agile values? A. Principle, technical excellence. Action, conduct a code review to find the source of bugs. B. Principle, simplicity. Action, remove the feature from production immediately. C. Principle, continuous delivery. Action, push more features to production faster to gather more feedback. D. Principle, early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Action, pivot or significantly rework the feature based on the negative feedback, learning rapidly from the failure. Answer, D. Principle, early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Action, pivot or significantly rework the feature based on the negative feedback, learning rapidly from the failure. The core problem is that despite delivering working software, it fundamentally misses user needs, leading to negative feedback. This indicates a failure in delivering valuable software, which is a key part of the Agile principle. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. The most Agile immediate action is not to simply remove the feature or look for bugs, but to learn from this failure rapidly. This means acknowledging the misstep, inspecting the feedback, and adapting by either pivoting to a different approach or significantly reworking the feature based on the new understanding of user needs. This embodies the inspect and adapt pillar of Agile, ensuring that future efforts are truly valuable. Remember, negative feedback is a gift in Agile, providing crucial learning opportunities to build the right product. Question 24. A team implements a no estimates approach, relying solely on relative sizing and flow. However, during release planning, stakeholders demand a firm delivery date for a major product increment, leading to significant tension. What is the most appropriate Agile response to bridge this expectation gap? A. Revert to traditional, detailed upfront estimation for the entire major increment. B. Explain that Agile does not provide fixed dates and stakeholders must accept this uncertainty. C. Use release planning techniques like forecasting with historical velocity or Monte Carlo simulations to provide a probable range of delivery dates. D. Agree to the fixed date but add a large buffer to account for uncertainty. Answer, C. Use release planning techniques like forecasting with historical velocity or Monte Carlo simulations to provide a probable range of delivery dates. While no estimates, or less emphasis on precise estimates, can be effective for short-term iteration planning, stakeholders often still require a sense of when a larger product increment might be delivered. Simply stating that Agile doesn't provide fixed dates is unhelpful and undermines trust. The most appropriate Agile response is to use forecasting techniques that leverage the team's historical data, like velocity, or statistical simulations, like Monte Carlo, to provide a probabilistic range of delivery dates, rather than a single, firm date. This manages stakeholder expectations by offering a realistic projection based on empirical data, without reverting to detailed, time-consuming upfront estimation that Agile aims to avoid. Remember, predictability in Agile often comes from data-driven forecasting rather than precise, fixed-date commitments far in advance. Question 25. An Agile team is constantly interrupted by urgent requests directly from various department heads, bypassing the product owner and disrupting the team's planned work. This leads to a loss of focus and incomplete iteration goals. What is the fundamental issue here, and whose responsibility is it primarily to resolve it? A. Issue, lack of technical expertise. Responsibility, Scrum Master to train the team. B. Issue, poor communication skills. Responsibility, team members to better articulate their boundaries. C. Issue, uncontrolled scope. Responsibility, product owner to manage stakeholder interactions and backlog. D. Issue, insufficient resources. Responsibility, management to provide more team members. Answer, C. Issue, uncontrolled scope. Responsibility, product owner to manage stakeholder interactions and backlog. The scenario describes a classic Agile anti-pattern: direct, unplanned interruptions and requests from various stakeholders that bypass the product owner, leading to uncontrolled scope and disrupted work. The fundamental issue is a breakdown in effective scope management and stakeholder engagement. The product owner is the single point of contact for external stakeholders regarding what the team builds. Their primary responsibility is to manage the product backlog, prioritize work, and shield the team from ad hoc requests, ensuring that all new work flows through the backlog for proper prioritization and planning. The product owner must actively manage these interactions to maintain team focus and deliver consistent value. Remember, a well-managed product backlog and a strong product owner are key to protecting the team's focus and flow.